Phil Darst, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Phil. If you've been here before, I appreciate you coming back to see us again. I'm sure you must have enjoyed what we've been doing, and if you're new here and this is your first time, I hope you'll enjoy what we're going to do and enjoy the food that we're going to fix for you today. This is an interesting one to me. It's an Indian dish, and when I started this channel, I said that I like to present different cultural dishes because I try different cultural dishes and I eat at cultural restaurants and I try the recipes and tinker with them a little bit. And I got one I think you're going to enjoy today. It came kind of unusually. Our family celebrate birthdays, and my birthday, which is in April, we went to one of my favorite Indian restaurants. Now, I haven't been out too much because of COVID, so we went to the restaurant that I've normally enjoyed. We found out that it had changed hands, it had new ownership, and the other thing was a little disappointment was they didn't have a buffet in it longer. But the food was great and we enjoyed it. Now, both of my granddaughters like Indian food, especially the oldest one, Karina. So her birthday came up here recently, and she got to choose the restaurant where we went, and she chose our favorite Indian restaurant. So we went in, sat down, got our plates, and went up to the bar, and I looked down there, and one of the first things I saw, didn't know what it was. It was orange, had little particles in it, and I tasted a very little tiny bit, put that on my plate, and went back and ate. It was delicious. It was one of the first things I tried. And I got to admit, I went back again for seconds and had twice as much the next time. And then I have to confess, I actually went back a third time and I got a whole bunch of it. And it was just great. So I asked my granddaughter, Amy, to check on the little screen on the sneeze guard there. They got written down what it was. And I'm going to have to read it to you. She wrote down Gajar Halwa. G-A-J-A-R, Halwa is what it was. We also noted that it was a sweet potato Indian dish because I thought it was sweet potatoes. Tasted a lot nice and sweet. So I came home and I started doing my research because I knew I had to make that stuff. So I went out and I checked. Well, interestingly enough, half of the videos that I saw were in Hindi. I didn't understand that too well. But I made a composite recipe and I tried making it myself a couple different ways, and I came up with a dish that I want to share with you today. Now again, it's made with the carrot. So we're going to have carrots and some other goodies in it. I'll be back in a minute to show you the short ingredient list, and then we'll go from there. So thanks for coming back, and we'll see you in just a jiffy. Well, there they are. That's all the ingredients that we need to make this dish. First thing, of course, are carrots here. And the other main ingredient in it is sugar, which delighted me. It takes a lot, so if you're adverse to sugar, it may not be for you, but I'm going to tell you it's awful good. Now, the other thing that we start with is our ghee or ghee here, which is clarified butter. We use it because it has a higher smoke point than some of the other oils and has a lot better taste, I feel. The other thing that you'll see back here is half and half, which is the same as milk. Now, as you know, I use a lot of coconut milk in cooking, and I did use it in one of my first trials, and actually I liked it. But because a lot of people aren't as easy to find, easily found coconut milk, they can always go to the grocery and pick up this. I chose half and half because it has a lot of cream to get the flavor there. And of course what you're seeing are nuts. Now these are cashews. You can read here almonds. And these are pistachios. The hard part about pistachios, I had to hull them, but that was okay. They're still mighty tasty and good, and they give you a little extra protein. So we've got some good things, and then my little grinder here, we're going to grind them up shortly and let you see that. So our next step will be getting ready for preparation. We'll be back with you in just a minute or two. Okay, now, I'm not going to do all of this in front of you, but first thing we have to do is to clean off the carrots. Some people scrape them. I don't scrape them. I just kind of skin them like this. You're not going to have to watch me do the whole pound. I've measured out a pound of carrots here, but this is the first step in preparation of carrots. And yeah, I'm going to clean this up shortly. So that's one of the first steps, is to get this part done. And then next step is we're going to go to the grating. I think these are the two hardest parts of the whole thing. So that isn't too bad. Then we got to cut this thing off here. So that we do. I'll get that out. And yeah, I'll clean that up in a few minutes. And then of course we grate them. So that is the process that we go through. I'm never really too good at just getting the bowl and everything out of the way, but I'm going to be grating a bunch of carrots while you're doing something else, and then I'll be back shortly. So that's essentially what I'm going to do. And the other thing that I'll do here in a jiffy is I'm going to get this out, and I'm going to chop up some nuts, and we'll put them in the dish at the last. So if you'll bear with me for a while I'm doing the hard work, I'll be back with you soon. Here we are again, all the hard work's done. This is what we're going to throw away. That's about a carrot in itself, so I put an extra carrot in the pot. So we'll try that. Over here is all the hard work that I did. That's all the what do we call that stuff? That's a shredding of carrots. So we're going to put those carrots in there. And then I ran my little machine here. I've got a quarter of a cup of each of the nuts that I showed you in here. So we got 3/4 of a cup of nuts that we're going to put in at the end. So we'll let you see that later. And then over here is my granddaughter Amy is coming over. You've seen Amy if you've ever seen Cooking with Phil. I was showing her how to cook. And she's coming over later for an art lesson. She wants to know how to do waves. So I told her I would take some time this afternoon and show her the process that I use for doing waves. When I came down to Florida, I thought I'd do beach scenes and so forth. And I have, and I've sold some. And this is a print. I've sold some originals. Here's another, and these are seagulls out here at a special place on Siesta Key that I've got that in a print as well as in this painting. That's what is it, an 8x12. And then this is one of the favorites. A lot of people like this one here with the birds. We get a lot of these little sandpipers around here. That's a view of Siesta Key Beach, which if you'll Google it, you'll find out it's one of the best beaches in the world. And then this is my one of my favorites. I've got it hanging on my wall and here in the print form. But that's a sunset on Siesta Key Beach. Over here, somebody taking a little boat trip out here. They're enjoying the sailboats. We see a lot of sailboats out here. So again, these are the waves that Amy's going to learn to do. One of my favorite subjects is dolphins. Here's a dolphin in the evening time in the sunset. We've got a beautiful sunset down on Siesta Key. In fact, the crowd comes out here and watches it and watches it. And as soon as that sun goes down below the horizon, you hear everybody clapping and they go home. Some of them do, some of them don't. Here's another scene on out here at one end of Siesta. And I'm working on it. I'm making a bigger painting of that. This is a little fella that I've forgotten about this one. I pulled these out. And then here's a couple that I have for my own interest in the kitchen. There's that's a monochromatic color scheme. That is a tomato, if you haven't figured that out yet. And there is a Moonlit Night and another tomato here. And then I've got some apples. I do apples. I do a lot of fruits. It's good practice to learn how to do it. So that's one of the things that I enjoy, and I've considered actually teaching on YouTube. I noticed a lot of people that teach art classes on YouTube, so there's a chance I may do that. Now, if you have any interest in knowing a little bit more, you can mention it in the comments. I don't know if I'm allowed to sell this stuff on YouTube or give you my website, but you can always comment and we'll tell you what you need to know. If you have any interest, well, great. So I'm going to go over to the other side of the kitchen in a minute to the stove, and I'm going to start cooking our dish. So see you shortly. Well, I'm back again. I've been here stirring while you've been gone, and I've got this pretty well reduced. What they say is to take the moisture out of it, and I've pretty much done that. So the next step is I'm going to pour the milk in. I'm sure you can do that without me showing you how, but I'm going to let you see that this is one step we go to, is to put that milk in, and I can almost see the carotene, I guess that's what they call it, making it kind of a orange or yellow color. And that's kind of what's happening there. As I put that milk in, it's cooling it off a bit, but the objective is to condense that milk down to keep stirring and cooking. So I'm going to excuse myself shortly, and I'll be tending to this. I guess this is one of the most laborious parts of it, is that you need to be stirring so the milk does not curdle or boil or whatever. We don't want a scum coming from it, so we just got to keep reducing that milk down. So I'm going to put it all in there now. So now we got milk and carrots, and that's the one part. Now the other part that I'm going to enjoy, because I've got a sweet tooth. I inherited that from my mother, I'm told. And what we're going to do is we're going to put sugar in. Now, they tell me, what I've found in the composite studies that I've made on this dish, is that we put about 10 tablespoons of sugar in it. Now, one of my favorite cookbooks is this. It's from a Tri Kappa sorority. My mother was in this sorority, so were all my cousins, my aunt, and everybody. But you notice it's a 1968 book. A lot of my recipes come out of here. And when I wanted to know how much 10 teaspoons or tablespoons was, it tells me here 10 2/3 tablespoons equals to 2/3 of a cup. So that's what we're going to put in here. And hold your breath while we put a lot of sugar in that. And I'm going to love this stuff. So we'll do that, and then we're going to boil it down while we're stirring it, and then we're going to come to the part where we're going to put the nuts in toward the end. Now, I probably won't have you watch that. I imagine the next step is we'll be back where we start eating this and I get to taste it. One of the things that I'm going to do that I don't see anybody else doing but me is I'm going to put in some hot stuff. Now, one of my delights is hot and sweet, and I think what happens a lot of times, the sugar counteracts the heat of some of the products that you put in there. So we're doing that. That was not in any of the recipes that I saw, but that's a Phil Darst addition to this. So you can do it with it or without it. And as I said, I'm going to bring this to a real slow boil, and then I'm going to reduce it a little bit. I don't know if there's too much more else I want to tell you. You know, I'm pretty much into vegetables. I know a lot of guys don't like vegetables. Some women don't either, I suppose. But I've eaten vegetables since I was a kid. And I found out at one time I was a vegan. I may have told you that on another video that I made, that I didn't eat any meat. I lived basically on vegetables and some other things for a couple years. And then for several reasons I slid away from it. But I still eat a lot of vegetables. And I usually like to talk about the benefits of eating vegetables, especially a carrot. Now, carrots have carotenoids in it, and some people think that they may help several types of cancers, and some think they might prevent cancer. It's not a claim, it's just a statement that I've picked up. The other thing that carrots do is they lower blood cholesterol. So if you've got any of those concerns, eat more carrots. The fiber in carrots is good. Of course, that's good for digestion, if I may say so, around food is elimination, but fiber is good to have. And a lot of people just don't get enough fiber. I know that was my parents' problem in their later years. They didn't eat vegetables much, and they were lacking on fiber, and you could tell that. Carrots are naturally sweet. One of the things that I've used in juicing, I don't know if I'll ever juice on this channel, but carrots and apples are very good. Because carrots, of course, have high antioxidants, so they also help the body eliminate a lot of toxins and other things as well. And as you know, Bugs Bunny liked carrots because they were good for the eyes. And kids, they say that if kids have carrots, it may help a lot of infant or childhood blindness. So start them out on carrots, eat as much as you can, and I find out that I use carrots in almost, I'd say 80% of the dishes that I fix. So at this point, I think it's in your best interest that I leave you. I think I'll just go ahead and pour this in here now. Oops, don't want to lose that. And let them kind of simmer and add to the flavor of our dish, because that's all the nuts that I put in. I got to laugh that when I was in the restaurant and I was looking down in this buffet behind the sneeze guard there, I could see that whatever this stuff was, and I said I thought it was sweet potatoes, that it had these little particles in there. Well, I found out later that those little particles were the nuts that they put in here. So we've got everything in it. I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put my lid on and let it kind of go. I'll watch it while you're gone, and then I'll be back a little bit later, and I'll be sitting down here at the table and enjoy it and say goodbye to you. So thanks for coming. Again, if you're here for your first time, I sure appreciate your dropping by, and I hope that you'll subscribe and hit the like button so that the YouTube there, the little bell on YouTube, so that you'll get notified on the next video we show, because I'm going to do more Indian recipes and other cultures, as well as good old American food. But I don't know anymore what's American food. So we've got a lot of things coming up. I told you I'm going to show you how to make hot sauce. And one of the things that reminded me about Trinidad, when I was down there, I had chicken roti, which was totally different than what I see on YouTube as roti. I had that in Barbados, and then when I went into Trinidad, I saw roti at one of the little walk-up street markets that I visited, and I got me a roti there, chicken roti. It was delicious. So I'm going to show you my recipe. I've never seen anybody do it, but I've got a recipe that I use for rotis, and I'll show you what that's about later. So thanks again for showing up. Thanks for your patience. I'll see you over at the dinner table. Well, hello, it's ready, and I'm sure ready. Been waiting on it for a while. There it is, as we have it. You can see that it's pretty well done at this point. I know that the cream in there makes it kind of a pudding. That's why they call it a pudding. I cheated a little bit. I took some out a little early. That's about as hot as eating out of a volcano. But we'll see. I've already had a taste. But I thought I'd let you see me eat some. And it is delicious. I don't think you can see them too well from here, but the little green look is pistachios, and that's what I saw at the restaurant when I saw nuts in there. Didn't know they were nuts. First thought it might be corn, but it is tasty. Now they say it's a dessert, and I suppose it is, but I also like it as a side dish. So I'd suggest you try to make it. Now I'm going to tell you the process of cooking down the milk takes a while. I had to keep working at it so that it wouldn't stick to the skillet and there'd walk. And it was bubbling along there, and eventually it evaporated and we got it down to this consistency. I think you could cook it a little bit more, but I don't think you need to. You saw me put a little bit of hot sauce in there, and I think that did add it to it for me. Not everybody's going to agree with me. But even the second bite is mighty tasty. So I hope you'll share this with your friends. Fix some, invite them over, and surprise them. It's a unique dish. Not everybody's going to have it for dessert or side dish or whatever. And invite some of them here to see it. You can share the video. I'd like for you to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure and hit that bell, because if you do, you're going to see the next thing we do. I try and make one a week, and I'm trying to get on a schedule. I've got some other things in my life, but I have a lot of fun with this, and I like to cook, and I know I'm going to take some over to one of my neighbors, and my granddaughter will be over later, and she'll sure enjoy some. I know that. So there's a lot left. This probably serves, what, 6 people or 8? But it is enjoyable. So I really appreciate having you today. And if it's your first time, as I've said before, I hope that you liked it. And since you've been here before, some of you, I thank you for coming back and supporting the channel. And as I told you earlier, I may even come up with an art channel. That keeps me busy sometime with my artwork and painting. And I thought about teaching. In fact, I actually started out in college to be an art teacher and a coach. And I drifted away from that, went into interior design, and that was one of my careers. And then I went from there into the furniture business and was in management, managed some stores and some things and that like. And then I retired early, and now I'm supposed to be enjoying life. But sometimes life gets in the way. You don't always get to do what you want to do. So take advantage of every minute you can. Enjoy your day, the rest of your day. Thanks for being here, and please come back. Bye.